Hi, Ed Diaz here. In today's video, we're going to demonstrate how to format a USB thumb drive, also how to create a backup of your users inside the Juno-DS, and then also how to restore all of your users of the Juno-DS from the USB thumb drive. All right, let's get started. So before we begin, I'm going to take a USB thumb drive and I'm going to plug it into the Juno-DS. Once it's plugged in, we're going to learn how to format the USB thumb drive to work with the Juno-DS. So I'm going to begin by inserting the thumb drive to the back of the unit. Now that we have the thumb drive installed in the Juno-DS, let's begin. So I'm going to begin by pressing the menu button. Now I'm going to cursor down to Utility. I'm going to press Enter, and I'm going to format USB memory. I'm going to press Enter. Now this window lets me know that this will clear all the USB memory contents. So that means that anything that is currently on the USB thumb drive is going to be erased. So if this is a thumb drive that you want to use for things other than the Roland Juno-DS, don't use it. Just know that this thumb drive is going to be specifically formatted for your keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and cursor to the right, highlight OK. I'm going to press the Enter button. It's going to process. And just like that, it is complete. This USB thumb drive is formatted for your Roland Juno-DS. Now let's learn how to create a backup of your Roland Juno-DS. So what is a backup? A backup means that all of your user patches, your user performances, everything that you've created inside your Roland Juno-DS that is yours will be backed up. Now, why would we want to do this? Well, if you're in a traveling type of situation, or you have multiple Juno-DS, or you have multiple instrumentalists that use your keyboard, say at church, it might be a good idea to create a backup because you never know what happens when you're not there or you're traveling. So let's begin. Now I'm going to press the menu button. Make sure that Utility is highlighted. Press the Enter button and cursor over to Backup. I can press the Enter button. Now I can name what I want that backup, so maybe this is my church backup or whatever I want to. I can name it. If I want to, I might go ahead and just name this Ed. And let's go ahead and name it real quick. I might name it Ed Juno. So I can press the menu button, and here comes a prompt. So I can insert or delete characters. I can press the Enter button, press it 2 more times. And now I'll exit that. And now I can easily name what that backup is going to be, so I always choose the correct one when I need to restore it. Okay, Enter. And now it's going to ask, are you sure? Don't worry, you're not going to mess up the keyboard. It's just taking all of the user content that you've created and backing it up to the thumb drive. So I'm going to cursor over to OK and press Enter. Okay, now that the backup is complete, we can go ahead and test it. So I'm going to take out my USB thumb drive, and now I'm going to go back into Menu, and I am going to Utility once again. I'm going to press Enter, and I am going to factory reset the current Juno-DS that I am working on. So Enter, OK, and Enter. Now, you do not normally need to factory reset the Juno-DS to check your USB thumb drive. This is so I can now demonstrate how we're going to take the backup and restore a factory reset Juno-DS. Okay, now that my Juno-DS has been factory reset, which means it's taken it back to factory settings, I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. Once again, another great thing about the Juno-DS, it takes it about 10 seconds to start up, and we're ready to go. And now, in order to restore the contents that I backed up on my thumb drive, I'm going to plug the thumb drive back into the Juno-DS. All right, so in an earlier video, I created favorites on Bank 8. So let's take a look and see if they're there yet. So I'm going to go into Favorites, Bank 8. And currently, if I look, nothing is in Bank 8. If I hold down the Favorites button, they are all free. So there is nothing there. And if I press it, it's going to say Nothing is registered. So now let's go ahead and restore from the backup that we just created and put some of those user created favorites there. So I'm going to go Menu, cursor down to Utility, press the Enter button, and I'm going to hit Restore. Press the Enter button, and there is the backup that we just created, and press Enter. It's going to say, are you sure? It asks you this because if there are other people that use this Juno-DS and they have created their own presets or their own performances and they have not yet backed up, it is going to erase or swap their information for all of your information. So just be aware of that. So I'm going to cursor over to OK and press the Enter button. Once again, keep in mind that this process can take a minute or two, but once it's completed, your Juno-DS that you backed up earlier will work on this current Juno-DS. Now this process works for Juno-DS 61, 76, and 88 models. All of those models are the same engine and the same brains, just different keys. Or as I like to say, all the same car, they're just different tires. So that means you can take a backup from a Juno-DS 61 that you might have at home, and you can restore it to a Juno-DS 88 that you might have at church or any other type of gig. Okay, now that that is completed, let's go ahead and shut down. Now I'm going to take out my USB because I don't need it, and now I'm going to power on the Juno-DS. So now let's check and see if the settings that I saved earlier in my backup have now been restored inside this Juno-DS. So I'm going to go to Favorites, press Bank, and remember in Bank 8 in a previous video I had sounds, and look right there, the sounds that I had in a previous video demonstrating how to do favorites are now there. So as you can see, formatting a USB thumb drive, creating a backup, and then restoring that backup to any of the Juno-DS, either the Juno-DS 61, 76, or 88 is very easy. I highly recommend that you do this from time to time because you never know who's on your keyboard and you want to be prepared. All right, you guys take care and we'll talk to you later.